Hello, Janice.
Hello, Anthony.
Today I'm just recording an update on an episode we did a few turns back about being an executor out of New York State. And I want to really just tighten that up. And my answer to the question is yes, I can be your executor outside of New York State. I want to be really crystal clear about that. So I keep getting calls and emails asking me, are you available? Are you able to be an executor outside of New York? So I'm obviously very flattered and honored. And the short answer is yes, I am available for that role outside of New York. So my clients keep telling me that they've been looking for someone just like me, and that once they start working with me, that they're just so pleasantly surprised at how ridiculously easy I make the process. I just feel like I haven't done a good enough job of letting people know that I'm available if they all say that they've been looking for someone like me for so long, and it took them a long time to find me. So that's why we're doing a second episode. And just to really clarify, the answer is yes, I am available. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So today we will discuss locality becoming less important, in-state agent requirements, reciprocal non-resident executor law. I'll say that sentence a few times.
Yeah. So these are all from recent examples of folks contacting us. So the first thing, locality becoming less important. I've talked about this a lot. I've actually even written about it in my book, which I need to revise now. But so even as recently as just a few months ago, choosing a local executor was huge. It was actually a really big factor in choosing your executor. And what I mean by local is, if your Uncle Bob died in Manhattan, you probably wanted a Manhattan executor. If Bob passed away in Albany, New York, you probably wanted somebody, in Albany, because Albany's, for who, if you're not from around here, is like almost 2.5, 3 hours from here, drive. You wanted somebody local. That is not really a factor so much anymore. So there's been a lot of changes due to the recent events
Yes.
that have changed and actually now favor more transactions from a distance, right? So in the past, there was a lot of emphasis on going into a bank or having a face-to-face meeting with a court official or things along those lines. But now I think everyone is experiencing, there's actually people are encouraging doing things by virtual.
Like the opposite.
Exactly,
yes.
Or by distance.
They don't want anyone coming in right now. Stay away.
Yeah, you can stay away. You can even sign your will virtually in New York. You can do notarization virtually. So the whole notion of having boots on the ground is pretty much gone. Now, a lot of those measures are temporary, but at least what I'm seeing in New York is that people love them, at least the professionals. So it's more likely than not that many of these measures and practices are going to remain even post lockdown. So,
I absolutely agree with that. I think they've gotten a taste at how much easier it is to do things virtually and electronically, and I think it's here to stay.
So if you strip out the locality, right? If you strip out the need for boots on the ground, what's left? What then becomes the most important factor in choosing an executor? It's expertise and experience, right?
Right.
Because if you can have anyone in the world, if you can choose, and it doesn't matter where they are, you just want the person who's most experienced and most savvy at what you need done. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense. Absolutely.
So in that case, sometimes it'll be the family member who's most best suited. That's fine too. But sometimes you just want a pro. You want a professional who seems most experienced and who seems most in tune with your needs or your style. And sometimes that might be me.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about a recent example of how that works. And a couple of states have what are called in-state agent requirements. North Carolina and Texas in particular require that a non-resident executor, meaning an executor who is not from North Carolina or not from Texas, have an in-state agent so that in order to be able to qualify as an executor. And that is pretty much just kind of a no-brainer requirement because in all likelihood, we will hire a North Carolina local attorney to do the probate or a Texas attorney to handle the technical probate in Texas. And that attorney will be the in-state agent. Bing, bang, boom. Very easily taken care of.
One-stop shopping. Okay.
Yeah. So that's really almost just a formality. I'm not really sure if there's anything else that needs to be said about that. And in the worst case, if if the probate is simple enough that I'm able to do it without hiring an attorney, which actually might be the case, there are in-state agent services, registered agents. Janice, I'm sure you're familiar from
Yes.
corporate filings. Very, very easy to do. All right. Lastly, we have an example from Ohio of a reciprocal non-resident executor law. Ohio's law says if you want to have a non-resident executor, meaning somebody who's not living in Ohio, that's only allowed if that non-resident executor lives in a state that allows non-resident executors.
Okay.
They basically, Ohio apparently wants a tit for tat or a quid pro quo.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm sure if I looked into the legislative history, I could figure it out. But whatever, that's the rule.
Fine.
And the short answer is, I live in New York. New York allows out-of-state executors. So any state with a reciprocal non-resident executor law, such as Ohio, no problem. I qualify, and a very nice lady in Ohio has named me as her executor. So no problems there.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that there might be these requirements that they think will keep you out, but really not really. That's
right. Most of these requirements, I haven't quite gone through all 50 states yet, but I have.
You'll get there.
I haven't really seen any requirements that would prevent, especially a professional executor such as myself, from qualifying in another state. So it's really not a problem.
Oh, okay. So the spoiler alert, the end result is yes, you can be an executor outside of New York State.
For sure.
Interesting. Yes. To read more on how to hire an executor, definitely check out Anthony's book, available on Amazon, How to Hire an Executor.
Yeah, that's it. This is a bit of a rehash of one of our previous episodes, but I thought it was important because I wanted to make it crystal clear that, yes, I am available, and whatever hurdles you may have read on Google or heard from friends, they're really not a big deal.
And things have changed a little bit since our last podcast, and it's actually a little bit easier for you, I think, now with the way the world is working.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Janice. And we'll talk next time.
Talk soon.
Bye now.